Hello Stampers, my name is Linda Bedinger and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Denver, Colorado. And I'm so glad you could join me this afternoon. I have my paper pumpkin alternatives for you for April. And I have made 9 cards. I got a little carried away with this one. It was so much fun and there's really quite a bit you can do with this kit. And so I have those alternatives, and let's just get started. Here is the start. My paper pumpkin is My Wonderful Family, April 2020. And the paper pumpkin is to make 8 cards. Supplies for 8 cards, and it has 8 envelopes. And here you can see this card has this pattern on it, and the envelope flap has that pattern. The same thing with this one. This one is in mint macaron, and this one is in shaded spruce. And it makes up these 8 cards. On the back, it gives you some alternatives that they have made using the same materials. And then the first thing I go to is what the coordinating colors are. And the coordinating colors for this are Soft Seafoam, Early Espresso, Pear Pizzazz, Melon Mambo, Crushed Curry, Shaded Spruce. I think that's it. Yeah, that's it. Okay, so the first thing I do when I get ready to do my alternatives is pull all of the colors and just kind of get an idea of what kind of color combination and if anything strikes me immediately. Let's see, the only other thing, pardon the phone ringing there, is they're talking about paper pumpkin in May. I think that's it. Yeah, this is for the May paper pumpkin, and it's going to be using the new in colors that'll be coming out, so that'll be fun. And they've given us this monotone white because they don't want to tease us with the colors. So I ended up making out of this kit 9 cards. I got, like I said, a bit carried away. And so I've got the cards here, and we'll just walk through the process and what it was I did. This is card number 1. And well, before I get too far into that, let me share with you what you got in your kit. This is the stamp set, and I'm going to bring back this piece so we can see here. Okay, so this is the stamp set. It's quite an extensive stamp set, very nice. It's got this tree trunk, this tree top. It's got a little string of butterflies here. Happy Mother's Day, Mom, Son, this little leaf spray, To My Wonderful, and then there's Dad, Daughter, Sister, Mom, Brother, Son, all indicated in here. This one says, so glad you are part of my family. This one says, let's see, this way, family is where life begins and where love never ends. This one says, I'll always be here for you. Happy Father's Day, Happy Mother's Day, To My Wonderful, and then it's got all of those names, sister, brother, so on and so forth. And that's really kind of nice because we don't have anything that has brother, I don't think, in the stamp sets. But that is the stamp set, and it's got a lot of fun things in it. Okay, then of course you get your glue dots and you get your dimensionals, and then this is one of the card fronts that you're given to work with. And the way this works is it's got this pattern already pre-printed on it, and then this piece folds back over this way, and the card opens like this. Now, you can have this flap open, or you can seal that down, whatever you'd like. But that is one of the card bases. The other one is a Z-fold base, and it comes looking like this. And they're both cut 11 inches by 4 1/4. And this one has this big panel here with a pattern on it, mint macaron. And then these two panels fold this way so that the card opens like this. Now then, this piece here, which has a lovely sentiment on it, life's greatest blessings begin and end with family. It is in family that we learn to love, teach what is most important, and get and grow together in love and laughter. Grateful for you, happy to be yours. Very, very nice. And this one, the way this one worked, the way they suggested it is you attach this to this, and then when you open the card, your message is still there, and you can write your little message here. But that's a Z-fold card. The only thing I didn't care for on this one, and it's in the picture, is that on the suggestion for this one, they lay these leaves right across here. Well, then I can't read the sentiment. I don't like that at all. It's across there, and you really cannot read the sentiment once that's on there. So I changed mine a lot. Then you have these sprays of leaves, and they're very pretty in this dark shaded spruce. Then they give you two kinds of labels. This is a crushed curry with a little speckle to it, and these are a double flagged soft sea foam. Then there are these pieces. Then there are tree trunks that are quite large. Then there is a page of little yellow butterflies and little mint macaron birds. And then there is these labels that are white, and there's two different shapes, the thicker ones and then a smaller one like this, and there's a page of those, and there is a bit of this melon mambo ribbon, and then there are these pearls in the crushed curry and the mint macaron. Yep, I think that is the entirety of the kit. All right, let me show you what it is I have done with these to make my cards. So I'll move some of these things out of the way. And I started to tell you about this one. And this is just one of my dies from my layering dies. And you could use any shape you wanted, but I put that down here, and then I just traced a little circle around it, or a little pencil mark around it, so that I would have the shape of the oval. And I did it really lightly, and I realized now I didn't go back and erase it, but you can't see it. So if you're careful and you go lightly, then you can do that. Now, all I did with that is then use this little spray of leaves here, and I went around the oval in all three of the colors for the green. So it's mint macaron and shaded spruce and pear pizzazz and soft seafoam. So 4 different ones. And then I put a little butterfly over on this side. I put a little bird here. This one is a note card. There is no sentiment on this one. But I just love the idea. And what I did was I took that card front that we were looking at just a minute ago, and I cut that piece off. and then I trimmed it down even further so that it was a little over to one side. Then I drew my oval on it and did my card. So that one, and the inside, I just did a cluster of those leaves and put a little yellow pearl on the center. So that is card number 1. This one is card number 2, and on this one, what I did was I used the flap of the card. This is one of those labels. Then I used my trees, and I used that as a template. Let's see, right up in here, and I sponged in very lightly a tree trunk there. And then I stamped this on a separate piece of paper and just fussy cut that out. Used Happy Father's Day, put a little bird up here. And then this came from that sentiment that is on the front of the card. Here they got covered up. And I used the top 2 lines for something else. So this one says grateful for you. Happy Father's Day, grateful for you. And then on the inside, I put a little strip of the shaded spruce and a tree and a little tree trunk using these 2 stamps. So that is card number 2. Card number 3 is where I took a white base, and I took some of the Pear Pizzazz paper down here, and I stamped the tree trunk and the leaf top, and then I fussy cut that out and raised it on dimensionals. I put a little butterfly on here, and then various first and second generation stamping of this little leaf stamp just to give the background some texture. I'm glad you are my family. And then on the inside, again, I just did the tree and the this is before I re-inked my stamp pad, and this is after I re-inked it. And you can see it's a little more like the Pear Pizzazz color, but it came out here, and that is my decoration for the inside of this card. So there we have card number 3. Now this one is card number 4, and with this one, what I did was I raised 2 parts of this saying, and it's a lovely saying that's on this card, and I just fussy cut out the words, life's greatest blessing begins and ends with family. Then that one is raised on dimensionals. This one is flat. It's in family that we learn to love, teach, and teach what is most important. And then I raised this one on dimensionals for the rest of the message, and I just cut the one spray of the leaves apart so that I could spread the message across here and not hide it. It's such a pretty message. And on the inside, what I did was I used my leaves here and just laid them down on the card and used a sponge dauber and a little of that shaded spruce ink and put a spray of leaves there, and I think it matches pretty nicely. That is card number 4. Now, card number 5, and you could do this in any of the greens. You could do this with the ink spot that you got with your kit. I just happen to have this embossed piece sitting on my desk from a previous project, and so I just used a dauber and I went slightly over the leaves to just highlight some of them, and then I used a piece of that same card here just to back a piece of white, family where life begins and love never ends. And it's quite a simple little card, but I just love the way it came out. And on the inside, I did more sponging on that shaded spruce color of the leaves. This one is a little busy, card number 6. And what I did was I took a piece of mint macaron and I put one of those tree trunks here. I cut off the edge of it so that it would be just a little bit different, and I used the envelope flap to get this piece. Now, that envelope flap paper is very thin, so I backed it in a piece that I'd cut off from here so that it would be a little sturdier, and then I matched it on this side by putting some of the pattern paper on this side. And again, I'm glad you are my family, a couple of the birds, the butterfly, and a few of the pearls. And by the way, you can take your regular pearls and you can color them any color you want, so you can have an unlimited supply of a crushed curry and or whatever color green pearls you want. I think the ones in the kit are mint macaron. And then along this edge, I used that butterfly trail stamp here and just stamped one right after the other, the butterflies down the side. Then the piece on the inside, I just tucked a little bit inside so you couldn't see it when you closed the card, and you could write your message here and more little butterflies down the side. So that one is card number 6. This one is also a very simple card. I used my leaves and I sponged here, and I sponged up here, and then over here, and then down here. And I used the one that comes in the kit, Pear Pizzazz, and then I went over it again with a dauber that had some of the crushed curry on it. I thought having those two-tone leaves would be kind of fun, and I really do like the way that came out. I used a piece of the Melon Mambo ribbon just to supply a little contrast, and then used one of their labels and put "To My Wonderful Son." And lovely message. And on the inside, I put more leaves, and then I fussy cut out another one of those messages, and I put all but the last piece in here because this message spoke to something I'd like to say to my son. He's getting ready to have his first child, and I thought it would be very special to give both he and my daughter-in-law a card that talks about the value of family. So that is card number 7. Then this one, it's just pure fun. This one I got by stamping this stamp this way on on a piece of white, and then you turn it around and you stamp it this way, and you can see it fits pretty seamlessly together and makes a giant tree top. And I did it in Melon Mambo. Now this piece is from one of the envelopes, and what I did was I keep one of these little plastic plates down here in my craft room, and I put this on the envelope flap, and I put a pencil mark and I cut around it just to give another interesting shape to use. Put it on this card, and I like the contrast of those two deep colors. And this one I just put Happy Mother's Day, a little butterfly and a bird down here. And then on the inside I did another of those trail of little butterflies and a bird to kind of match what was on the front. So that is card number 8, and this one is card number 9, and I use that same stamp, Family, Where Life Begins and Love Never Ends. And then I did this tree top, this tree base in the Pear Pizzazz. I put a few of those pearls on there in the butterfly, and just a thin little strip. Actually, you can get about a 1/4 inch strip right off of this piece here on both sides of this piece of green and on one of these sides. So you can actually get several pretty good sized strips, and there's 2 sheets of this. So you can end up with quite a few little strips of the shaded spruce to put on your cards. On the inside of this one, I did that same tree, and I just stamped off and stamped off and stamped off until I got a real light color. And on this one, I used the butterfly to sponge in my butterfly so that it would be the same kind of faded look. So that is card number 9. Like I said, I had lots of fun with this kit. There's just an awful lot you can do with it. And I used a little bit of extra cardstock, but most of this is done with the colors that you get. And if you have a little bit of extra cardstock, you know, you can just keep going forever. So let's see. My prize draw, first of all, let me say thank you. Thank you so much for stopping by my YouTube channel today. I do so appreciate it. And if you don't already have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, I'd love to be your demonstrator. My prize draw for the month of April is the Well Said and the Well Written stamp set and die set. And the stamp set is a 2-box stamp set and then a whole bunch of dies with all kinds of sentiments. It's something you could really use in your stash. It's about a $75 value. And how you put yourself in the drawing is to go to my store, lbedinger.stampinup.net, put an order of any size on my store. You can get to it that way, or you can get to it through my blog, www.inkandingenuity.com. And I make a drawing out of everybody that's ordered on my website at the end of the month and send out your prize. Let's see, I'm getting ready to send catalogs, so if you've put an order in with me, in about the last 6 months or so, you'll be getting one of the new catalogs from me. I think they're going to ship out around the middle of May, and then will be effective in June. It's very exciting. I've had a sneak peek of one, and got some real pretty stuff in there again. So that's it for me. Thanks so much for stopping by again, and I'll be back soon with more cards, more projects, and more tips. Bye.